My co-coach Lucy and I spent $45,000 and 10 years combined trying to lose fat sustainably through setback after setback. We'd start a new weight loss program, give it our all, and inevitably fall off the wagon for reasons out of our control. Had I known then what I know now about how to pick a program and stick to it in a way that felt natural, not forced, I could have shaved multiple years of my journey. And as information becomes ever more prolific on the internet, it's more important now than ever to make the right decisions. So if I had to do it again today, here's exactly how I would go about it. First, I would stop asking what's the right program for me that I can stick to forever. What if that's not even the right question to ask? Instead, ask, how can I choose the right program for my current stage of life and adapt it over time so that I'm sticking to weight loss instead of to any particular program? Wouldn't that feel simpler and more freeing? Suppose I'm ready to start planning what next weight loss program to try. What I used to do. Okay, you know what? Low carb sucked last time. So how about just something that lets me eat whatever I want? Bingo! What happened? The problem was that I was choosing programs based on snap judgments about what didn't work in the past rather than understanding where I was currently at on the solution spectrum. And if you really get this, it will drastically simplify your decision-making process too. Each solution lies on a spectrum of structure and support. There's DIY on one end and problem-focused coach on the other end. DIY means using internet, books, etc. to create a weight loss plan for yourself. This has the least structure and support because you're entirely on your own. Then comes intermittent fasting. You can still DIY to a great degree, but only within the eating windows you've chosen. Then calorie counters like MyFitnessPal. They have basic structure to follow, like how many calories to eat and tracking body stats, but they don't coach you on how to meet those targets. Then food group diets like keto and paleo. They provide a lot more structure through precise rules on what to eat. Next is the coach app mix like Noom and Weight Watchers. Both provide more support and structure through their apps, coaches, and community support, but quality of coaching responses may be inconsistent due to each coach having to deal with hundreds of clients at once. Then comes solution-focused coaches. This is like a personal trainer who's mainly there to help you with your exercise. They may also help you with nutrition, but usually aren't able to do much beyond setting basic food targets. Mindset, lifestyle, and nutrition strategy coaching is missing. And likewise, a nutritionist may help you with your food, but not exercise. Finally, there's the problem-focused coach. A problem-focused coach isn't married to one solution. They will go through any solutions as long as the unique mix of them solves the ultimate problem, weight loss. That's basically what our Badass Body Boss program does. The second factor is cost. Roughly speaking, the cost on the DIY side is the lowest and the problem-focused coach is the most expensive. But in terms of time, the opposite is true, since you spend a lot more time trialing and erroring on the DIY side. The last factor is flexibility or personalization. DIY is highly personalized because you're free to mix and match to your heart's content, while intermittent fasting is less personalized than pure DIY because it constrains your solutions to only be within a specific eating window, and so on until we get here. At the Coach App Solutions point, personalization starts increasing again. To know where I am on the spectrum, I have to ask what's my tolerance for structure, cost, and flexibility. Note that this is not about being right or wrong, but about deciding what best serves your needs right now. For example, I need a lot of flexibility and personalization, so calorie counting or having a problem-focused coach is best for me. But I have a friend who finds flexibility of calorie counting to be too much leeway. But he loves food group control diets like keto because they are less flexible. He doesn't have to think as much. And if you want to go deeper into how to figure out where you're on the spectrum, I made a video here for that. But how does this make choosing a program simpler and more freeing? It switches me from right or wrong thinking to spectrum thinking. It's no longer out of hundreds of options, which one is my perfect fit. Instead, it's where am I on the spectrum right now? And what are my options from this place? Now, once I've successfully selected a program, I usually want to dive right in with gusto. But hold on. Have you ever started a program with enthusiasm only to realize a few weeks later that what used to feel easy is no longer sustainable? 80% of the time when this happens to our students, it's because they try to do too much at once instead of only focusing on their biggest bottleneck. This was me too, until I discovered the Pareto Principle, which states that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of consequences come from 20% of causes. In other words, 20% of the work causes 80% of one's weight loss results. When I was doing doing more than that 20% to lose weight, I was wasting precious effort for minimum and sometimes zero results. It was a recipe for burnout. Think of a road like this that starts wide and gradually narrows down with cars trying to get from one side to the other. I can spend my time and effort expanding the left side, but that's not going to get more cars to the other side because the bottleneck is on the right. Why does understanding this make things simpler and more freeing? By shifting from all or nothing thinking to bottleneck thinking. I now focus on only 1 to 2 things at a time that address my actual biggest bottleneck and free myself from worrying about everything else. I stop being stressed out by all the things I think I should do because in reality, there's only 1 to 2 things I actually need to do right now. This will drastically improve chances of sticking to something because it's easier to do one new thing consistently than multiple things consistently. So, within my chosen program, I need to figure out the bottleneck thing to prioritize. If it's a diet and workout program, I'll try to nail the diet part down first. The workout can just be a bonus or put off until after I've consistently nailed the diet. If my program has to do with eating paleo and my biggest bottleneck is sugar, I'll switch out only sugar foods for paleo alternatives first instead of overhauling everything. If it's intermittent fasting, I'll focus on just decreasing my late night eating window by an hour first before worrying about getting that exact 8:16 window from the get-go. If calorie counting, just decrease by 100 calories only from dinner first rather than going straight into a 1200 calorie deficit that takes a sledgehammer to all my meals. Okay, so let's say now I've done all this and I'm able to stick to my program, but I hit a plateau a few months later. This is something I know you have been through because the bad news is plateaus are unavoidable when losing weight. Everyone will go through them. But the good news is because plateaus are perfectly normal, there's nothing wrong with you or what you're doing, and there's a solution for them. In fact, I made this whole video about all the different kinds of plateaus you'll meet on your journey and how to break them here. Without understanding plateaus and learning how to deal with them, there's no hope of succeeding in weight loss long term. So check it out now. And if you want my help losing weight, check out the sneak peek into my Badass Body Boss program in the description and comments below. And always remember, you can do it.